There you go.
Good. We're last week, everybody stayed silent on the recording, but this is good.
Yeah.
Gianna's here. Hi, Gianna. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to you and everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. So Caroline's actually staying with me, but you wouldn't think so because of her beach background.
I love that.
Yeah, that looks really good. It looks really good. I don't have a fancy one like that. Just get at my house. How's everyone's day going? Going good,
Amazing.
good.
No
Pretty good.
complaints. Still on the high from the Super Bowl performance or halftime performance.
I know. Did you watch the game at all? You just would just
It was on.
it was on, right?
It was on. It was on.
Good.
Yeah. Did you?
Until the halftime and then I
Same.
it was a school night.
School night. This is true.
So then everybody it was a great time to just wrap it up.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, so no, but it was yeah, I'm still very moved. Very, very moved by the whole thing.
Seen a couple of TikToks and posts about different things and the symbolism and the meaning behind it and the story behind it. So there's a lot of intention behind what took place.
Oh yeah, for sure. Jordan is here. Okay, Suzanne. What's up? Hi. Remember, Suzanne, you taught us well that if you touch my face, you get unmuted.
Hi.
There you go. Don't forget what you taught us. Hi,
No, I'm
Lena.
not. I'm just next to someone that's eating soup and the spoon's hitting the bowl, so I didn't want to bother you guys.
All right.
No, you don't have
What's
to
up,
move.
Adrian?
I was gonna mute it. You can stay here, love. Oh, now I feel bad.
Tell them that you can't win. You can't win. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You guys, look at us. After the Super Bowl night, and we're still here making the Monday night.
Yes, of
That's
course.
commitment.
Yes, very important.
Good, good.
Very important.
We're gonna give it an extra minute before we do our coherence to just see who else trickles in.
There's everybody.
Well, they stayed out last night, so well, I think Heather was at a Dr. Joe, so she's just coming back. Tracy will be back next week. And yeah, to see. And then Maria check in.
What's up, Murray? Look handsome.
What's up, man? Thank you. Thank you. I'm kind of wanted to do a little like guru-ass shirt.
Nice. It's a nice one.
Thank you. All right, gang. Wait, Maria. Oh, Maria's here. Great. Hi, Maria. Great. Okay. 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 Ron. Ron, are you gonna be will we be seeing your beautiful face? Oh, and we are. There you go.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have that timer that says 4 o'clock or no?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't turn it off. Yeah. It's kind of a hassle. So, yeah.
Okay.
Every
But
30 minutes.
I'm into it. I'm into
Okay.
it. Just yeah, I'm into it. It keeps me on
I kind
path.
of want it to be like your voice, though. I wanted to kind of like yell like that because I have a woman's voice. It's very soft, but I like it. It's 4 o'clock.
I didn't think it was that soft, but okay, but it's definitely a woman's voice.
Yeah, I don't
Especially
know.
right on target.
From
What's
it.
up, Gonzalo? All right, see, all the kids came. All right, guys. Well, I am so excited, so happy to be with you tonight. And the first thing I want to do, like always, let's do a little heart coherence. If we can all just like sit up in our chair and just relax into our chair or wherever we're sitting on, and let's close our eyes and just feel the space, feel your body, feel your feet on the ground. And now let's take 3 deep breaths together, in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. And while keeping your eyes closed, I want you to feel this beautiful golden light that's coming right from the top of your head into your heart. And this beautiful light is giving love and compassion all throughout your heart. Feel the warmth, feel the love of that essence, of your essence that connects you to everything and everyone for that light. And now I want you to feel that beautiful light extending out of your heart and going down your spine, healing all your cells, healing your body, going down your legs. At the same time, that light is going up your spine, going into your lungs, going to your throat, out of your head. And now this beautiful light goes all into the room, your room, creating harmony, creating peace in every corner, creating good vibes. Feel that light as that light now goes outside of your room and it goes into your streets and it's creating peace among everybody that it comes in contact with, creating joy, creating harmony, creating coherence. I feel this beautiful light going into your city, creating peace among your cities, creating wellness, creating love. This light now goes into the country, creating peace in our beautiful country, creating compassion, creating harmony, creating love. I want you to see this beautiful light expanding into the planet, creating peace in the planet, creating order, creating love. This light now continues and goes into the universe, goes into all the planets, creating harmony with all the planets, creating love. And now this beautiful light goes right back into your heart. Now feel your heart, your beautiful heart that's been with you every single day, that's never let you down, making sure that you do all the great things you came here to do. Now let's take 3 deep breaths again, in through our nose and out through our mouth. 1, 2, 3. Now slowly come back to the room and open your eyes. Oh, just letting a few more people in. All right, how's everyone today? Tonight?
Listen,
Hello.
Hi.
All right, guys. Hi, Rosie. All
Hold
right,
on one second.
some of you missed coherence exercise. I'm sorry about that, but there's coherence enough from the rest of us, so we'll give it right back to you. Hi, Maritza. Hi, everyone.
Hi, George. Hi, everyone.
All right. So, I wanted to start off our session today with just an observation. Did a lot of you watch the Super Bowl last night or watch the halftime show? Maybe, but saw the news today and all the TikTok videos and all that. Any?
I saw the Super Bowl, but I haven't seen the news afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. So I just, obviously as a Latino, right? I felt it was so historic to have a performer that did an all show in Spanish, right? And it just made me think a lot about, we have this thing where we're so scared of the unknown and we think like, oh my God, we're going in the wrong direction and all that. And again, um, everybody has their own taste. I just invite you guys to kind of notice that. I mean, I think that we're always moving forward. There's always going to be progress. And sometimes it does feel like we go back here and there a little bit, but maybe that's just to gain speed and then to go forward. So I wanted to open up with by just feeling that kind of historic moment of a Latino opening for the Super Bowl and doing an all show in Spanish and let that be a testament to moving forward as a culture, as a civilization. And if you guys want to share anything about that, please do.
Sure, I'll go.
Sure, Marit.
Um, so yeah, I felt super proud because he wasn't just representing obviously Puerto Rico, he was representing Latinos as a whole. And I loved, so surprised when I saw Lady Gaga. Did not expect her. I was hoping he would close with Mark Anthony, but maybe he was busy, who knows. But with everything going on in the world and not getting into politics and who sees what, um, it just validates Latinos in a way of we're perceived in a certain way, um, and we he just showed the world that it's all about the music, and music is can be transformative. Music can just cross boundaries, and you don't even have to understand what. Sometimes I listen to Brazilian music because that's one of my favorite genres, and I have no idea what they're saying, but it's also beautiful. And so I think he was able to do that yesterday just to showcase, um, you know, we're all in this together. Some of us are Latinos, browns, you know, uh, yellow, whatever you are, but we all have to coexist in this existence. And I think he did a good job with that.
Beautiful. Great. I agree. I agree. Anybody else has a thought on yesterday?
I do.
Go ahead,
Maria?
Maria.
Maria? Hi,
Hi.
Maria. Yes.
I think that I thought it was really, really great. Um, I think that what I got from it was that he was trying to just remind everybody about our humanity. And so he was showing what life looks like from a Latino perspective, the things that are culturally involved in our lives and things that, we see in our countries and stuff like that. So I just felt like it was a big reminder of just the fact that, we're human, not just us, but immigrants, US citizens, like we're humans. So I think it was a reminder about humanity. But one of the things that I really, really appreciated he did is because it's something that I tend to talk about a lot. But at the end, when he talked about, he said, God bless America. And then he mentioned all of the countries within um, the North American, South American continents and Central America and Latin America. He named them all. He ended with the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. So his point was that they're all Americas, and I think that we lose that especially in our American educations, our U.S. educations, um, because we're taught that we're Americans, but technically for the Americas. Everyone's an American. We just happen to be US citizens. So I think that that was a really great point that he was making, and I appreciated it.
Thank you, Jana. Yeah,
Uh,
very well said.
I have something to say because I own a business, guys, and I look at things from a business standpoint. I think this just goes to show that the Latino market and the Latino community is bringing in a lot of dollars into the U.S., whether it's through migration or just like us Latinos. We are a demographic that is needed for this country. We give billions of dollars, as a demographic. So if you notice, a lot of companies are now marketing towards Latinos a lot more. And so I look at it from a business standpoint because I don't know if you guys noticed this. Right after his performance, the first commercial that popped up was about ICE. So the NFL was great. The NFL was able to throw that in there, but then they still threw. I don't know if you guys saw that commercial. They like, oh, ICE officers are also Americans and they're good people. They're fathers, they're brothers and sisters. That commercial came on right after that show. I'm a business guy. That's just great business. So for whoever hated Bad Bunny, it's like, oh, okay, cool. They put a commercial about that. The NFL is very smart. It's a product. It's a multi-billion-dollar. They don't care about our hearts. The reality is they care about our money. And Bad Bunny made a lot of money as well. I'm sure he cares, but it's an industry as well. And I look at it from that standpoint. It just shows that Latinos have purchasing power legit in this country, which that makes me proud because our voices are going to be heard a lot more with whatever issues come into play. Our voices matter in elections now, which is great.
Yeah, no, true. And I think it's a balance of art and commerce, right? Like how can they both coexist and make a lot of sense for everyone? So yeah, I kind of want to just start with that. We don't have to, it doesn't need to be a whole Super Bowl session, but I wanted to go through some of the principles from the method. But I just wanted to kind of be in that sentiment with you guys about yesterday because I do feel that it's the power of the narrative. You know what I mean? We control our own narrative about how we see the world and the stories we want to tell. So it was just I wanted to make sure that in a time where things do feel really uncertain in so many ways, let's take stock in progress, right? Because I think taking stock in progress is so big. And I wanted to introduce the concept and like what you say programs your reality, and see what you guys think about this. So words are neutral. Complaints, gossip, and the repetition trains our nervous system to stay stuck. Okay? So what are you guys? I would love to hear some thoughts about that, about how what we say actually programs our reality. Manolo, I know.
I can share something if
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys, if you want to use the hand raise thing,
Oh, sorry.
no, 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 no. That's totally fine. But yes, go ahead.
I'm
Fresh
sorry
out
about
of
that.
Cancun.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still on quite the high. And just a side note, I just have to say this is something I recognized throughout the entire week, that I can literally say, even though I was in a petri dish of love, I went the entire week without one complaint coming out of my mouth. And it was a noticeable thing, and it felt very it felt a different way in my body,
Yeah.
it really did. The words, going back to like the words that we say on a repetitive basis, and how we identify with those words as we describe ourselves even, and complaining. One of the great things about being at this retreat is that you're really revising your model of who you are and how you come off as a personality, right? So it was really, and this is my fourth time going. So every time I go, I revise my model more and more, and it was really great to be able to talk about myself, like how I introduce myself, and like what do you do, and blah blah blah, and like your life stories in a way that I changed, truly intentionally changed the wording of that and how that felt differently in my body as I was describing myself. So to your point, Jorge, I think that the words that we choose, whether it's describing your day or who you are or somebody else or whatever what you do for a living, whatever the words that we choose, they imprint in us energetically, and you carry that imprint with you, and then it becomes your subconscious program of how you identify in the world. So it was really great to be able to play with that this week and rewrite certain narratives of the words that I choose to use to describe myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did anybody else try the non-complaint and has been having some sort of a reaction about it and a different experience that wants to
I
share?
did. I did.
Rosie?
I just had a lot of, just when it rains, it pours. I just had a lot of like, just from everything being really smooth to just like three major things falling on me in one day. I didn't discuss it with anyone. I had that positive reinforce, just like being gratitude. It's going to work out. It always works out. All you can do is stress or just like work with it and don't go repeating it to everybody complaining about this happened to me, that happened to me. And it all worked out within 24 hours. Everything just worked out. I didn't get my passport. I'm going to Mexico next week. It came the next day, 2 days later. They were complaining about me not having all my credentials. My tenant called with a bunch of problems with flooding in my thing. That got fixed the next day. The SBA loan told me that they sent my bill to Treasury from the COVID loan. That kind of worked out. So it was just a lot in one day, all those three. And I usually would have stressed out and talked about it, and I just worked it out, and it was great.
And how was it different for you? You made a conscious choice or we're like, you know what, I'm not
I
giving
am not going to
into
go complaining about it. I'm not going to just go tell my parents, tell my friends, do this. It always works out. I'm just going to believe that it's going to work out, and I'm going to believe it's going to work out. I reiterate it to myself. It's going to be. It always does. It's going to be great. And less than 22 days. In 2 days, all of that seems so monumental, all kind of worked. I mean, I had to work on it, but just not talking about it negatively and complaining was really helpful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll talk.
Right.
This week was actually a very good week for me. Not in terms of business per se, just in terms of applying the methodology. The thing that happened this week that I'm proud about, and since Jorge, you know me quite well, um, this week I'm working with someone. One of my artists is going through difficulties in his life, and I'm very aware of that. But it's starting to spill over into business with clients. And right now, he's kind of missing in action. He's not responding. I think
He's
probably
doing what he needs to do.
he's doing what he needs to do. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's impacting my ability to manage a job circumstance.
Yeah.
Now, 10 years ago, I would have been on the phone being very aggressive with him. You need to do this. You need to do that. What's going on with you? Blah, blah, blah. But he's a good friend, and all that's going to do is create conflict in our friendship as well.
Mhm.
So what I did this week is I told myself, I'm not gonna be an enabler. I'm not going to harass him. I'm not going to focus on telling him what to do. I already told him what he needs to do. I'm going to tell myself what to do. And what I decided is I'm not going to say anything. If this job circumstance falls apart because of him, so be it. And it just made me realize that going forward with this one person, for each job circumstance, I'm going to have to send him an email saying, here's the job circumstance. You agree to do these following things for this job. If you don't agree to this, then I'm going to turn down the job. So, in other words, I just prevented conflict. I just shut myself up, put it that way, rather than being verbally aggressive.
Yeah. It's
Right.
amazing how when we accept something, we actually become really effective. It's like you try not to make it be something it's not, and yet you take care of you, right? And you take the actions that you need to take care of. Awesome. 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 Adrian?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you allow me to run. How you
Mhm.
doing, buddy? You, s- you said something about the enabler. Do you mind explaining what that is? Can you
Yes.
explain to me so I can
Yeah.
learn?
Yes. So this person, he is my friend. He's also one of my artists. Um, he has a very codependent personality.
Mhm.
He constantly needs someone by his side to be his assistant, to be his handmaid. He's just that kind of guy.
So
Okay.
silent attachment.
I was just visiting him for Christmas. I know him very well. And the one thing I've realized, seen him with his two sons, he's single, seen him with his two sons, seen him with other people. He just always needs someone to be doing things for him. So what he kind of wants is me to be harassing him about this job circumstance, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to enable this codependent relationship
Mm,
because that's what he wants. He wants that codependency. And I've
mhm,
never had an inch of codependency or an ounce of codependency in my life. I'm not that kind of person.
mhm.
So I'm not going to enable his codependent nature.
I see.
Mhm.
I see. Thanks for explaining.
Um, all right, guys, there's another one I want to talk about, which is, they're all kind of related, right? So silence is not weakness, it's actually self-control. Not reacting, not explaining, not engaging is often the most powerful move we can make.
Yeah, I have to just chime in again. I realize that every day here in Los Angeles with road rage. What I, what I've learned is when you have that person behind you honking, driving aggressively because they want you to get out of their way or whatever, don't react to it. Ignore it.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, and so I'm applying what you just said to that. Just ignore it, silence, turn the other way, go about your day. Because all you're looking at is someone who wants to get in a fight. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? And the more that it's building a muscle. The more that you just like, apply empathy and be like, I don't know what this guy's going through right now, and it'll start immediately just lowering that reactivity, Always I think
Like,
I told you guys when I meet somebody that I don't like, I always say like maybe they were dropped as a baby a bunch of times. Like just do whatever narrative you need to do. And you can figure it out. You can work yourself out. Yes, Heather. Heather's good with using the hands.
Trying. I'm going to be better. I think also when you can do that effectively, you're communicating, well, your silence is actually communicating more effectively, and you're taking your power back,
Yeah.
and I was always a very like quick to react kind of person, and I was like, well, I mean, why isn't everybody that way? We should all just say what we mean and blah blah blah. And since I've been reading this book, and even over the last couple of years of just like a lot of self-reflection and changing, I've realized that in a lot of circumstances, when I am consciously and deliberately silencing myself from a conversation or something. Now, granted, I mean, you can't do that with everything. I mean, I've got 19 employees. I can't just be silent about a lot of things, but there are things that do require, like even with my boys who are 22 and 19, they're older now. And they know that ways of trying to get responses from me that feed a fire. And so I've been practicing that actually. Like I'm going to just restrain myself. And that is effectively communicating better than me.
Yeah.
And I take my power back and the message gets loud and clear.
Because inevitably we're also listening more. And that's
Mhm.
also what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And then the person feels heard and understood, and they, we get more of the reaction that we want. So thank you for that. Anybody else wants to add to that?
I think Roxy's trying to get in.
I know
Or
she keeps falling in and coming out.
she's getting
I'm
this
in.
weird
I'm
say.
in.
Oh, you're in now? Okay,
Okay,
sorry.
she's in.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me.
No, no, no. All good, all good.
Um,
Um, Another principle that I wanted to add to you guys today was healing faster happens when you involve fewer people. Okay? The more
mm,
people you tell your problems to, the longer they live.
mm.
Who wants to contribute the conversation about that?
Can you say the beginning part of that again, please?
That healing faster happens when you involve fewer people. And the way I see it, I mean, when I first wrote it, it's like, so let's say you have a problem, right? Wait, Manolo, are you here? Did he go away? No, he's here.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me, Manolo.
It's interesting because this is something I've always done, and I think it's because my oldest sibling is about 10 years older than me. So although I had siblings, I was 10 years apart from them. So I kind of was on my own. And I notice now still as an adult, when I'm going through something, when I have a situation, when I need to go through my emotions, I don't reach out to anyone for support in the sense of validation or to walk me through the problem, right? I usually turn inwards, reflect, get quiet, and kind of process myself through the situation. And there'll be a handful of times that I'll reach out to someone for, maybe an opinion, but not living on what they say, just taking it as part of the process, digesting it, and then coming to my own conclusions.
Okay, so you do it more to kind of like brainstorm on.
It's 4:30. Internal resolution more than anything. At 4:30.
At 4:30. Thank you. Wait,
Timer.
Suzanne?
So I love this choice, rule, discipline, whatever we want to call it, right? Because what I
Discipline. I like
found,
discipline.
so, okay. So what I found is when I look at myself and how I used to talk to many people about problems, it almost seemed to make it grow. And I also realized that it was like almost like spewing out poison on my friends in a way. And it made it bigger than what it was. And just having one person and saying, you're this one person I'm going to talk to about this. Actually, I did this with Roxy a few months ago. I called her about, and I said, you're the only person I'm going to talk to you about this. And I talked to her about it. And it feels almost like you give the problem the respect, yourself the respect, and the person that you're talking to about it. It's like, and by doing that, it takes the power away from it, kind of. Does
Yeah.
it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You create a smaller container, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get it all from that one person, so it doesn't have to grow.
It's
Thank-
like a sacred space almost. And in a sacred space, things heal and change or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Lena, are you with us? She stepped out for a moment. Okay. Um, okay, Maritza.
Yes. So I got to your book and that teaching a little late. I would tell everybody, even strangers, like I would meet off at some event. I just got divorced. from a 24-year marriage and yada yada yada. And I was like, when I got to your book and you're saying it and I'm re-listening to that chapter, I'm like, that's what I'm doing. I'm just reliving it. And I want people to have pity for me. And I'm the type of person that instead of like what Manolo was saying, dealing with it on my own, I want a lot of support. And I think that that's just been me and my DNA. And that's why I have to tell the world what's going on. And I've noticed that the less I talk about it, the more I'm healing, the more I'm putting it behind me, to the point where this weekend I went out with some friends who we spent one night talking about the whole situation. And when I got to their house, I said, I don't want to talk about my ex. I don't want to talk about it. So let's just go out to dinner and have a nice time, you know? And it shows you that you make progress when you're not constantly just talking about the situation. So the method is true. There's, those steps do work.
100%. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Adrian.
My turn. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay. At the beginning when you said it, I didn't get it, but now listening to everyone, I kind of got it. What I'm gonna say, I don't know if it's kind of on the point, but I heard this once that someone said to me, we remember things because we repeat it through our lifetime. Okay. And I'm like, he's and even told me, the person even told me, you remember your name because you repeat it often. If you would not repeat your name ever again, even your name, you will forget it. So as you were saying, like things go away or you forget things or things heal faster when you don't tell people, like, so in my mind, it's like it makes sense now because using that methodology, it's like, okay, you're repeating and repeating and repeating again the problem. And if you stay quiet, as you mentioned, like it's like, damn, I've noticed that when sometimes I don't tell people things, I'm forced to forget it pretty much and heal faster. If you forget it, you heal faster because it's not in your mind anymore. And your mind is the one that produces energy the most. No,
Yeah.
that's my
Right.
point of view, perception. So it makes sense now.
Yeah, no, that's it. Where we put our attention, energy grows. So the question is, where are we looking? What stories are we telling? We are the shepherds, we're the conductors of our conversations. And that's not to say, if you have a messy room, call a cleaning service, get it done, fix it, right? Like address it. But it's like if you go around and you start telling everybody how your room is always dirty and like you don't know what to do with your sofa and your bed has a like that's now you're focusing on it and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. What you don't pay attention to, you suck the oxygen out of it. It just has to die. So I really, and this is something that, I mean, I feel like in this container of all of us together, you guys get this message, and I know you experience it in your own life. Like when you start noticing something, you start seeing it more and more and more as the observer effect. So we really have to like live in that eye of the hurricane and move strategically and observe and really take notice on all the things that we love about our lives, and then that's gonna inevitably just start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know it sounds really simplistic, but it's 100% true.
And Jorge,
Yes. Hey,
Roxy,
Roxy.
I would also add that as we're getting rid of talking about things, we've got a lot more space to think about the things that we want to fill up, like love and gratitude, and take that, whether it's a physical issue, a spiritual issue, any kind of issue that you're dealing with, it doesn't matter. It's all the same approach. You want to fill that with love and joy and happiness and take that and replace it with those things instead. And nobody else can do that for you. That's why talking to anybody or getting like a team of people in line, they can't do it for us. And let's be honest, people aren't that interested at the end of the day. They care about you, they love you, but nobody's going to love you like you love you
Yeah.
or should.
Yeah. And
Good
then
one.
the more you love you, the more you're loving them, right?
Yeah.
And we could really love them by not have them engage in conversations that are going to trap them and take them down south into topics that are
Yeah.
not making them happy, you know? So we
Right.
can really become the conductors and the directors of the orchestras of our lives, of our conversations, you know, and have that community, that person that you're talking, like when they start going down that rabbit hole, you take them out, you change the subject, you know what I mean? And look at it as like you're taking care of your people. So yes, I completely agree. Ron and then Heather.
So I'm in agreement with everything that we're talking about. I can say that uh, until the last 2 years of my life, um, I have destroyed a lot of relationships by talking too much, by spilling my problems onto other people, both professionally and personally.
Although you were really
Hey,
entertaining while you did it, so I gotta give you.
wow. Well,
I don't
but
miss it, but it was entertaining.
okay, well, but in some cases, all I did was give people the impression that I had problems that prevented them from even having a relationship with me, whether it was a friendship, whether it was a romantic relationship. So all I gave them the impression is I had too many problems
Yeah,
because I was just spilling it to whoever, primarily professionally, though. I mean, I really ruined some really good friendships or working relationships because I did exactly what we're talking about. It was like my life was now their problem,
yeah,
and they didn't want to hear it, you know? And then on my final note is the one thing that I keep telling myself is the only way to move forward in life is to drive forward. And what this conversation is really addressing is how we tend to look in the rearview mirror, and we're looking always in the past, but you can't drive forward if you're looking in the rearview mirror. You have to just look ahead and drive.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Well said. Heather and then Lena.
Sorry, I'll stop raising my hand after this. I just had to share one
No, I
more
love
thing.
it. I love it.
I know I had shared something with the group. I think it was the first day. It was pertinent to the topic, and in the container was I felt comfortable sharing something that had happened, and how I trans was able to kind of transmute that. But it was a traumatic event. So, and interestingly enough, Jorge, I know you know this, but for those of you that maybe have never been to a Joe Dispenza event, there's 2,000 plus people, and so many people are coming for all these different reasons. And it's a very common question for people, especially that are going their first time, to ask another person, how did they get into this work? It's a very common question. And so for the first 3 times that I had been to a Dispenza event, it was very like, well, let me tell you how I got into this work. Here comes the story. And even though I wasn't emotionally tied to the story anymore, I was telling the story that involved a lot of pain and involved a lot of it was this story of pain and overcoming challenge and blah blah blah. But now, like, you know, uh, it's funny because this time around, I made a very big choice that I'm not going to tell anybody that story because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't make it's a curiosity on somebody's end to ask you questions, and that's in everyday life, right? So the story that you give somebody in everyday life, whether it be big or small, still a story about yourself that at the end of the day doesn't impact their life. And at the end of the day, it's not it. I guess what I'm trying to say is even just going back to the event, when people would ask me, so how did you get into this work? I had to make some changes. And I'm excited about the change. These are some of the changes that I made and make it very positive, right? And then, what are you excited about? As opposed to the story going in the other direction. Well, let me tell you about how I got here, right? So then how did you get here? What pain did you have? So now I'm pulling pain out of that person, and it was so interesting to me this time around how I was able to navigate that. And like you said, be the orchestra of that conversation and never once telling the story of how I got into this work in the first place because I don't want to fucking tell it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
Good job.
I just had to share that because there we go. I just had to share that because it's sorry, somebody keeps calling. It's so much about the story and about how we, present ourselves and talk to the world and yeah, that story is no longer an important story to tell. It never was an important story to share with the world. I could, it was just an important to help heal for myself and only a few people, maybe I'll discuss it with in the future. But at the end of the day, I felt really good about that. So anyway, sorry, just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna go Lena because I was calling, and then we're gonna go Gianna and Joylan.
All right. So I've never been one to complain to other people. I really am one to just keep things to myself. But I do think that the stories we tell ourselves internally make just as much of a difference. So just because I'm not complaining to people outwardly doesn't mean I'm not making comments in my own mind, like telling the same old stories. But I've gotten really good at it, and dovetailing off the last comment, I do believe that the stories we tell ourselves creates our reality. And if we keep telling ourselves the same thing over and over again, that's literally going to be what we see and what we live. So I really also have tried to stop telling old stories that was from different lifetimes ago. And more so, I find myself talking to other people about trying to help them with their problems. It's kind of in my nature, it's what I do for a living. And what I find that is that over time, you can become a broken record and you're not necessarily even helping that person anymore, even when they ask for the help. Sometimes, you just have to say your piece and walk away because that kind of negativity can also kind of trap you and make you feel unhealthy.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Gianna and Joylan.
Sure. I'll make it quick. As Ron was speaking, a couple of things resonated with me. Similar to Ron, I feel as though now that I'm reconciling certain relationships where I overshared in those relationships, for different reasons, wanting to be validated, wanting to be seen, wanting to be understood. But I think wanting to be seen and validated by the wrong individuals. But because I still interact with these individuals, I feel a bit uncomfortable now because I sense that I overshared and I probably trauma dumped a bit too much. Do you have any thoughts on how to move forward in those relationships, but now with a better sense of, okay, it's not important to tell the story and it's not important to get their validation. Any suggestions on how, whether to recover from that, from those relationships, or just moving forward, this is what you do differently?
I just think like there's such a perfection in who's in front of our life and being the one, right? Like for example, and how this would connect to what you're saying, like I have wonderful friends that I love to death, and right now I'm not calling them and they're not calling me, and it's not personal. All it means is we're not aligned right now. And whoever is aligned will show up in my space, and whoever's not will not. And all that means is that they have to take care of something over there, and I have to take care of something over here. And once we can take the personal out of interactions and friendships, then oh my God, then it's almost like you're always at the right place at the right time with the right people, you know?
Mhm.
And right now, like I have people that I love to death, and I'm probably never going to talk to them again. And that's okay. I feel that we had a great journey and we had a great ride, and we're good. And maybe if the day of tomorrow the universe brings them back to me, um, then great. Maybe we'll be aligned again in whatever area. Does that make sense? Like I'm just not trying to make a circle into a square peg. I'm trying not to, I'm not forcing relationship unless you're talking about someone that you have to, interact with. But if it's someone that's an elective person, like I think we tend to have that feeling of like, oh, but we used to be so close, and why can it still be honored that you did have that really great moment? And right now, there's other people for you to be close with, and they have other people for you to be close with. Does that make
Makes
sense?
sense. Yeah, perfect sense. Thank you. I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, that works like such a solid, and I wanted to, Joylan, and I'm gonna have you share in a second, but yeah, I used to have this best friend that I'm not in communication with anymore, and I was talking to his stepmom the other day, and again using the work, it's like I don't use names, so I feel like I'm always very cognizant in keeping people's reputations clean. So I really encourage you guys to get into the habit of not using names when you tell stories, because we very innocently like, oh, my friend Jimmy, and then people can start piecing things together. So you don't have to have like a personality lobotomy and become like, oh no, I don't tell any stories. But just the fact that you're not using people's names, like now, I think I've told you, I've trained my friends that they don't even ask me when I tell stories, and I'm like, yeah, so I stayed at my friend's house. They don't ask who anymore. So it's
Mhm.
always so beautiful to keep reputations clean and to also be the example, so then other people start taking that on. So yeah, and Gianna, it's friendships are beautiful and they're just not personal because we're constantly evolving, and it's a beautiful thing. And whoever's not calling me back, you know, you're taking care of your life and good for you. Joylan?
Yes, it's funny and it's nice that we all, it doesn't matter, the religion, sex, nationality, we all have everything in common. Like we all go through pretty much similar stuff. And I just want to add something to Heather. Me as a sound healing therapist, I can tell you that I have gone through a lot as well in my life. And I read something really nice that it said a healer will have to go through a lot of battles to heal other people. So don't take it personal when people ask you. Maybe God is using you as a bridge to people like to open up. And I totally understand your point of view that you don't want to talk about it, but you might be a healer to someone else that also want to that's scared to mention or to say something that they're going through. So use it as a bridge, not as a personal. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. As a conflict, as a personal conflict, but you see it as another point of view.
Thank you for saying that. I really, really love that. Thank you. And I think, with what you're saying, but also with what Lena said, the story that you tell yourself. And it's not that I identify with this story anymore. I've really worked that out. I really have. I have worked that out. That is not something I hold on to. It's just when people would ask me, what brings you here? Like, how did you get into this kind of work? There's a story that went along with that narrative, and so maybe I will find ways to be discerning if I feel like it's appropriate with the person that if they share with me first. And I find that it can be an interjection to help them. And so I really appreciate with what you just said. That's really beautiful because I don't want to sound like I'm being cold and callous, and it's not, you know, and you're right. Maybe it can help some people, but I guess I just won't lead with that as my foot forward into the messaging when asked. You know, that was a very specific event, and it's a very specific. It's a very common question that people ask at that Dispenza event. There's 2,000 people, about 100 people ask you, why did you get into this work? So maybe I won't lead with that, but if I feel like there's a place where that can be helpful, I'll remember with what you said. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
That's awesome, guys. And maybe it could be like, hey, how many times have like you're walking down the street or you're in your car and a homeless person asks you for money and sometimes you give it and sometimes you don't. And you don't carry the guilt if you don't help them that one time. But maybe sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm into it. And sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? So it's more like you're feeling the space and you're not making yourself wrong about one decision or the other. Does that make sense? You create freedom around your choices, which I think that's what we all really, really want to do. Yeah, Lena?
Go on, Lena.
I just
And
wanted to
then
say I've been to a few Dispenza events and I understand completely what you're saying, Heather. The way I handle it now is just by being very vague. And you know, if it leads to more, it leads to more. But I say something like, well, I suffered some significant losses and this has really helped me.
yeah, exactly. We keep it vague like that, and then it doesn't become the thing. Ron?
I just quickly, what Gianni said about seeking validation from others. Yes, that was very much the driving principle. And I think in essence, that's kind of the basis of the shut the fuck up method, which is don't try to get validation from other people by spilling your problems onto them because they're not going to solve the problems. The validation has to come within you, which is part of being silent. So that's it.
Yeah. I used to have this mentor that she said if I had a prayer, it would be God spare me from the desire of seeking love, approval, and appreciation. Amen.
So true.
So
That's really good. That's
yeah,
really good.
it is a good one. It is a good one. So the last principle that I want to talk to you guys about was your reactions reveal where you still need healing. Triggers are actually feedback, not failures. So have you guys ever heard it? If you spot it, you got it, you know? So I think triggers are wonderful because it shows us where there's work to be done. So it's like feel it, have that sensation, and then don't go ham on yourself about you lost it. Maybe now you're gonna lose it for, 5 minutes instead of the hour that it used to be. And that's where the gratitude and the pride should come, by the way. I still get triggered. I still get triggered, but I pat myself in the back when I notice that right away I get off it or I remember that it will take a few hours and now it just takes one. So just always make sure you take stock in the progress and it'll just keep evolving and going bigger and bigger, if that makes sense.
Can I speak
Yes,
quickly?
yes, Ron.
So another thing
Quite
that I
popular
live
now.
by is don't let the reaction be worse than the action. And the type of person that I was is, yes, someone did wrong to me. Their action was wrong. That's not the issue. My reaction to it made it worse. So I've learned not to react in a way that makes the problem worse. I react differently now. So
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go Lena and then Manolo.
Yeah, I think life is somewhat of a mirror. I think when I have a very big reaction to something, I step back and I think about why did I have this reaction? Because it's obviously a trigger in me. So I've had a couple situations where I had big reactions and I just took a step back and then I, came to the person. I said, you know what? I realize that my reaction to you was something that I felt sensitive about, but there's a way to do it such that the other person can take responsibility too, and you take responsibility for your own actions. So now I'm much less reactive, and I always think about like, why do I care so much? It's very revealing.
It's very revealing for sure. Thank you for that. Manolo.
It's interesting when we talked about reactions and so forth. I had a situation where I was not interested in hearing about an individual, right? And the same night, a friend messages me about this individual. I said, listen, in all honesty, I don't necessarily want to hear about them, right? Another friend also messaged me at the exact same time about that individual. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, are these two things happening at the exact same time from two people? So I sat back and I stepped away and I said, you know what? I need to share that where I'm at with this. And the two conversations were the same, but directed very differently. The one friend that is a newer friend, it was very politically correct. I said, this is not a place I want to be at. I don't want to talk about this. No offense to you. It's just where I'm at, et cetera, et cetera. The other friend that's more than, 25, 30-year relationship was more like, why the fuck are you doing this, right? But I was able to speak my truth to both of them in a respectful way, how we have our friendship and where we are in that relationship. And it gave me a lot of understanding as to the trigger I was having and why I was having it, right? So I think there's something true to what Lena was saying about, I think, honor where you're at, where the trigger hits. And if you're able to communicate that with the other person, to me, it helped both of our relationships get a little closer in both of those situations.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Carolyn.
Yes.
Bring us home, Carolyn.
Oh, it's
Carolyn's actually
beautiful.
staying with me in the other room.
Yeah.
And I met her last year at a Dr. Joy event, and we are doing some healings, and she was my healer. And we have she's kind of, she's my mom this week, and
It's
I
5
love her
o'clock.
very much. Thank you, Ron.
No, it's
I
beautiful
don't want to put you
listening
on the
to.
spot. I'm just really happy that
No, that's it. It's beautiful hearing how everyone's made all these changes and how it's affecting them. And I have to say that when I complain, listen, I don't tell my old stories that pain and all the things I've gone through. I feel better. I feel happier. I'm in a better space. I'm not drugged down into those feelings anymore. And I feel really free and that I don't have to speak about them. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you guys, actually. Thank you, Ron, always keeping us on time. And thank you guys for the beautiful shares. Thank you for this container. I'll be sharing throughout the week. If you want to post anything throughout the week as well in our chat, please feel free. I love this space. I love your heart. I feel that whether you shared multiple times or once or you didn't, we're still all in this energy, spilling it to each other and making our lives just richer and more whole. So thank you all for being here from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Jorge.
And it's Valentine's week, so spread a lot of love.
Oh, much love, much gratitude. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a
thank you,
great
thank
week.
you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Have a good
Bye.
one.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Great week.
Thank you.
Bye, Papa. Bye, guys. Bye, Rosie.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, honey.